So this is the 8th delivery of Warhammer Conquest. So I've taken it out of the box already. We've got 2 issues with the Rhino Kit. This one's just got the Chaos Upgrade Sprue for vehicles and the other Chaos Upgrade Sprue for vehicles. This one includes all the pieces for a Rhino. If you were to get them to convert to Imperial, you just need either the Chaos or Imperial Upgrade Sprue. This has the Riser Pattern Ruin Sprue, and this has the Space Marine Command Sprue from the Dark Imperium set, coloured in blue, with the Captain in Gravis armour, another Inceptor, another Hellblaster, and an Intercessor. So you've got 4 models on this sprue. So I'm going to open all these up, have a look, and come back and discuss the value of what we've got and how Conquest is developing. Let's have a look at the contents. We've got 1 sprue of the Rise of Ruins, so 2 sprues retail for $17.50. We've got a Chaos Rhino, which I think retails for $20. And we've got the Command Sprue from Dark Imperium with the Gravis Captain, the Hellblaster Sergeant, an Intercessor Sergeant, and the Inceptor Sergeant. So this starts to fill out the forces that the Space Marines have. You now have 3 Hellblasters, I think you've now got 9 Intercessors. 1 more of the sprue that you got previously gives you your full Hellblaster squad, gives you a 5-man Intercessor squad, gives you all 3 Inceptors that you're after. The Gravis Captain is a good solid model and is the most powerful character that the Space Marines get in Conquest from the poster that we got with issue 1. He's your close combat tank, not quite as good as Lord Felthius, but still pretty reasonable and certainly better at shooting. You've got 2 Chaos Upgrade Sprues. So this is to put spikes on everything, and this has stuff like the Havoc launcher. If you're new to the hobby, you definitely want, and you're playing the scenarios from the Conquest book, you definitely want to put the Havoc launcher on. You definitely probably want to put the Combi Bolter or Combi Flamer on. So the Combi Bolter will give you 4 shots at range 12. The Combi Flamer gives you a Flamer as well, which can be very useful for winkling things out of cover because it automatically hits. The Havoc gives you a long range strength 5 shot, and you get D6 shots with it. So if you're moving your Rhino, you're hitting on 4s, but it still gives Death Guard some much needed firepower. And then this is the Rhino Sprues. So you get this in 1 issue. If you want to order multiple issues to get multiple Rhinos, you do need multiple upgrade sprues because they have the couplers. So you've got 2 hatches there, 2 couplers there, and something else for putting things on there. You need to be able to fill that in. If you're doing it for Imperial, you need to be able to fill it with the Imperial upgrade sprue that comes with this. This is very nice terrain, and this gives you some proper terrain that isn't just crates and light scatter terrain. It gives you walls to hide behind, it gives you your first proper buildings. So put this to one side. In the magazines, you've got 1 scenario per magazine. You've got 2 about the Rhino. This is putting it together with all the instructions, some of which you really need to pay attention to, like the upgrade sprue, because some of the upgrade sprue you can't use. You don't want to use the wrong Chaos God symbol on your Rhino, so do pay attention to it. It does break that down. You've got a scenario here where it's just a scenario with 2 objectives, and you want to, it's a 4-unit battle. This one explains the transport rules, gives you the data card from the Rhino. In this it doesn't give you the combi weapon option, but Combi Bolter, Rapid Fire 2, which means 4 shots at range 12, Havoc, Heavy D6 range 48, Strength 5, Damage 1. As it's a Chaos unit, it's got self-repair. That might be a I'll double check that and see if Imperial Rhinos get that, because they've got some sort of resilience thing as well. But it's a toughness 7, wound 10, 3-up save vehicle. So it's not as tough as the Dreadnought, but it's still something that can get quite far across the board quite quickly. He's got a move of 12, which means you can advance 12 plus d6. This breaks down the painting. You've got a large amount of Death Guard green that it expects you to undercoat with a brush. Again, you want to prime this. If you are painting the Death Guard green with a brush, you want to go over it with reasonably thin coats and more than one coat. And then it's metallics, so Retributor and Lead Belcher, and then washes, and then picking out some of the details. There's potentially quite a lot of detail on this kit, to the point where it's the physically largest and most detailed kit you've done so far, if you put all the spikes on. So you've got all these helmets, all these skulls to go over and do. You've got all the accessories and extra icons that you can put on if you want to go detail heavy. It does explain transport and give you a scenario where you've got to get across the board, which means you probably want to stay inside the Rhino until you get into the enemy deployment zone. This one is characters for the Space Marines, so Sergeant, Sergeant, Sergeant and Captain. This is your highest ranking officer you'll get and the leader of your forces. So again, these are from Dark Imperium. They're fairly simple to build. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7-piece kit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6-piece kit. The captain's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. Again, you want to spray this and then apply paint. I think that's definitely something missing. But at the end of it, these start looking reasonably nice. This isn't that bad. You've got your base coats, you've got your metallics, you've got your washes. What it's missing is things like, and there's so much opportunity for this, highlighting, edge highlighting on this. They could start going through some of the more advanced techniques. Gives you a scenario with Felthius versus the Gravis Captain, who is Aesheran, who is toughness 5, which is pretty handy. 2 plus save, no sorry, 3 plus save, 2 plus weapon skill, 2 plus ballistic skill. You can reroll hit rolls of 1 for friendly Ultramarine units within 6 inches of this model, and he's got a 4-up invulnerable save. This is a really solid character. You can fall back and shoot with him. He's got a pistol with, it's a bolt pistol, it's just a 3-shot bolt pistol. But in close combat, he's got a power fist. So he's strength 8, minus 3 AP, D3 damage, but at -1 to hits hitting on 3s. Or a power sword, strength as user, so strength 4, minus 3 AP, 2 damage. So if you're fighting standard Plague Marines, if you're fighting Poxwalkers, the Gauntlet is better because then you're wounding on 2s. If you're fighting enemy vehicles, the Gauntlet is better because then you're strength 8 versus, say, toughness 7. But that's the captain. The rest is just expanding units that you've already got. And the last one gives you the rules for ruins and goes through building the Riser ruins. So again, it's asking you to undercoat these Abaddon black by hand, use spray. You've got optional assembly. You can change around how these fit together. So you get basically 2 bigger ruins, 2 little semi-barricades and a hatch. And it's got you painting them black. So I imagine they're going to come back and go over that with another colour when they give you another colour in future. The scheme isn't bad though, because you've got You've dry brushed it with some grey, you've got the metallics on there, you've got some washes on there. It's a reasonable scheme, it's not terrible. Cover in Ruins rules, and it gives you a campaign system, so you can capture territory, and then when you fight in that territory it gives you advantages. Okay, so you start off with 2 Ultramarine, 2 Death Guard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 disputed. So yes, that's actually pretty good. Again, a beauty shot of properly painted models. And another scenario where you use the Rhino, you use 2 of the Death Guard characters, you use the Dreadnought, you use a Primaris character and 3 of the units. So 5 Reavers, 5 Intercessors, 3 Hellblasters, fighting Plague Marines, the Tainted Cohort, Chaos Rhino, Blightspawn, Putrefier, and it's an elimination mission. You get victory points for eliminating enemy units, and victory points for being within X 3 inches of the objectives. Both players place a single objective on the board. You obviously place it as close to your deployment zone as you're allowed to, and then capture that and then eliminate the enemy to get the advantage. But yeah, so developing Conquest, because this is the 8th delivery. You've got your first proper tank, you've got your first proper Ruins, and you're really filling out the Primaris side with some characters and filling up the squads. So you can now field easily almost a 10-man Intercessor squad. You've got 3 Hellblasters, 2 Inceptors, you've got 2, 3 Primaris characters, you've got Primaris Dreadnought, you've got a reasonable amount of Primaris stuff, you've got the Reavers as well. You can field the mini 3-man squads, and you've got 4 of them for Reavers and Intercessors. No, sorry, 5 of them, because you've got 3 Intercessor squads of 3. It's getting there. I think they should be introducing more advanced paint techniques, because things like this edge highlighting here on this Rhino is not a hard technique. I'd much rather they were doing that than telling people to undercoat this with a brush using Death Guard green. Tell them to undercoat it with a spray can and then paint Death Guard green over it. So I think it is putting new starters in a bit of a box, because it is limiting them to exactly what they get in Conquest and not going out and buying some Chaos Black spray or Ceramite White spray or whatever to undercoat this stuff with a reasonable timescale. You're also not getting transfers. At this point, particularly with the Rhino, I'd have included some transfers. It's not an expensive item to include, and it adds a lot. And then it lets you go through how to do transfers. The value on it is okay. You get a good tank, nice Ruins, and the character sprue. But I really wish they were introducing more advanced techniques. If you've liked this video, hit like and subscribe. If you want to chat, leave a comment below. But otherwise, good gaming.